This boss is a boss that if you follow the instructions on the box, that it's not that bad. However, the box is written in a language you have to learn.
Iblis.
So before the fight starts, you kind of need to know where you're going. Um, there are two rocks behind me, one behind and to my right, and one behind and to my left. There's also one on screen that is just in front of me. Silver will pick up throw objects in the order they are picked up. So when I do that, I'm going to go back right, front left, back left. So I'm going to start here.
It will be finished.
Notice how they're kind of in a line in the order I picked them up. The big one was in the back right. It's the closest to Iblis. And then the one on screen is in the middle. And then the smallest one is on the left. And then you throw them at his face. Note that you have to stagger your throws. You cannot throw these as fast as possible because on impact they will create an explosion. This explosion can prematurely explode the next object coming in, making it deal 0 damage instead of 1. And that's your first cycle. You have 4 of these. So there's going to be, as soon as you finish this first cycle, and by the way, you have to do all that within about 6 seconds. I got it in about 4. But you want to do this ideally before Iblis does a Cocoa Puff attack, which you will automatically see after this next cycle. So you want to take this specific line so that the first piece of debris is to your left, the second is to your right, so you have them separated as far apart as possible, and this third one is in the middle. Now it's like, why don't you just throw from here? The thing is about Iblis 1 is that Silver doesn't like to lock on an Iblis 1 when you're towards either the right or the left edge of the arena. So I'm going to walk back by holding up left. And when the camera pans, that's when I can stagger my throws and get the next cycle. This is the hardest part of the boss coming up. The third and fourth cycles are not easy to explain, but I will do my best. A thing you can do that I think would be good to just do, even though it is part of the harder strat, which is bonus cycle, if you sneak in a cycle early, is you just pick up this rock. You stand as close to the edge as possible, about here-ish. There isn't really an exact landmark for this one. And it is going to cross his arms, and then when he opens his arms, he will start blasting Cocoa Puffs at you. They come in 2 waves, one right after the other. So what you want to do is you want to pick up the Cocoa Puffs before they hit the ground, because you can do that, and then move them out of the way before the explosions around you would hit the Cocoa Puffs, because even though you're holding a Cocoa Puff, it is not immune to explosion. So the landmark I look for is I do a tap, jump, and throw right about now, when his topmost fist closes. Actually, that was late. You want to aim so that if you miss this, it's not the end of the world. It'll just make your life a little easier going into these next 2 cycles, because off of this wave of puffs, you want enough to kill. So you want to move to the right, because there's debris to your left that you want to preserve. And then that was a little hard to explain. So what I did there is I jump and kind of wiggled while moving forward. That way the puffs landed behind me and I got 5, which is not enough. I mean, that's what I do to do bonus cycle. Um, which does save like 4 or 5, but is generally not worth it unless like you are confident you can get all 3 hits. It's a pseudoscience on how that works. This is like the easier method that's much more consistent. Okay, so at this point, I have 2, which is not optimal, but not unsavable. Right now, I don't have the right trigger held, so in order to pick up more objects, I have to drop and then re-grab these. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna scout around for some... Hey, we found one. So, Iblis is not going to be immediately damageable. He's going to do this animation where he reels his head back and then resets to neutral. Then after he resets to neutral and barely starts to rear his head back for the fire breath attack that you can do nothing about really if it goes off, that's when you start throwing. I was a little bit early on that first one, but you can kind of see when he becomes vulnerable. Okay. Also, this gives me the opportunity to say, when Iblis is breathing fire, don't throw anything at him. It just doesn't work. Maybe you can do that later. There is like a 1 in a million chance that you get like a very horizontal shot that goes around the flame breath hitbox and hits him in the face, but it's just not worth it. I've done it like once, and I didn't expect it to work. Perfect! If you do everything correctly, unlike me, in that fight, you want to aim for sub-50s. The closer to 45, the better. I personally get like 43s, 42s. If you're getting around there, then you're really good at the boss. Without bonus cycle then. And then if you see people like Nick, bro gets 39s without bonus cycle. It's absolutely ridiculous. You want 142 and most of them are 48. Well, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. If you're just starting out. Like anything sub 50 means you did the fight. Congratulations, you may exit. If you see that fire breath attack, you're not owned necessarily because you have debris to the left of where I was as well. Like you have